Satoru Gojo seems to love the pain and suffering. He has shown shades of being that way throughout Jujutsu Kaisen, and I have no doubt that it is definitely a part of why he gets excited in this world, in which he is lonely at the top. Similar to Sukuna, Gojo doesn't have anyone to give him a hard time in battle. No curse, no sorcerer, everyone's just the same. The only light at the end is the ones that have presented him with the abnormal strength, making his ego act on it. So let's take a look and see if pain and suffering is the true answer, or is it something more, such as leaving a like on the video for hackery luck, subscribing if you are new. Now, let us begin. There are exactly 2 occasions in which Gojo feels like he was about to lose, that being against Sukuna and Toji, both leaving him in the brink of death. So you would think such events like this would make him despair and garner hatred towards the 2 individuals, but that is far from the truth. If anything, Gojo is different in the sense he would appreciate them rather than be negative. In truth, what exactly did Sukuna and Toji do for Gojo to enjoy the pain that was given to him? With Sukuna against Gojo, they've had 2 rounds, in which round 1 was a battle of domains, but round 2 was without. When it was without, Gojo and Sukuna had their back and forths, especially on how to counter each other's techniques. With Gojo knowing Sukuna has Maharaga in the back pocket, it didn't make things easier whatsoever. Furthermore, Gojo was on a time limit to eradicate Sukuna and turn him into dust, but till this point, Gojo didn't get any feelings such as he's about to lose. Although he went under pain against Sukuna domain, really and truly, he has never felt that equality in which he could lose. Unless you want to count when he couldn't call out the domain expansion and thought Sukuna could. That's the only possibility in which he could have been the case. But what definitively triggered Gojo to become in that state is after Gojo hit Sukuna with a black flag, and that final spin occurred. Gojo was no longer in the driving seat. He was caught by Maharaga through his infinity. This means everyone, and him included, knew that the possibility of losing increased tenfold. In this moment, he felt he could actually lose. Even the students who thought that was unfathomable actually thought that could be the case. But instead, what struck him was not fear. Instead, a rush feeling of satisfaction. The last time he felt something like this was against Toji 11 years ago. This was another time in which he could have lost. But from the verge of death, he came back up and unlocked the reverse curse technique. But the manner in which Toji stabs him could have left anybody scarred or tried to get revenge with hatred. But Toji was visited by a Gojo who was happy and ecstatic. Is Gojo normal, or does he have a few loose screws? Similar to how he refers to Yuji. After garnering the power needed, he demolishes Toji in this case with the purple hollow. But the thrill, the rush and fulfillment that came from it, you can see it was grandeur to the point Gojo didn't even care about the little girl he killed, Riko. He was just high off life. This makes you think the time Gojo is happiest is during an intense battle against people he knows could break the infinity. Since Gojo did not react in the same manner earlier in the Sukuna fight until his infinity was broken, this same thing happened with Toji Fujiguro when it met with the inverted spear of heaven. This could be an indication that Gojo is surrounded by infinity and no one can truly get to him unless they are the strongest, kind of showing that Gojo is in another world from everyone else, a separate space. Every time someone breaches, he can finally get to bond with the person on another level in comparison to everyone else, in a sense that being told not to be lonely anymore, you're no longer by yourself. Sukuna had similar instances when fighting that he wanted someone that could rival him. He was promised by Yorozu multiple times, but she failed to deliver. But Sukuna knew that was going to happen. What he wanted was the unwavering strength that was coming, and that was from Gojo alone. No one else would suffice, and when the King of Curses spouts nonsense such as Gojo being ordinary, he genuinely felt that maybe he was wrong about him. And perhaps he was disappointed more than anything. So the question is, how did these 2 fighters continue to quench each other's thirst for battle? There is a moment Sukuna is stunned and Gojo is smacking Maharaga left and right, consecutively, bullying him pretty much. Just as he was about to obliterate Maharaga, Sukuna called his rabbits. This gave Maharaga the opportunity to escape along with Sukuna, buying enough time to rest. Gojo goes ahead and clowns him, saying that the Black Flash really did a number on you, didn't it? In which Sukuna throws a fire extinguisher to field his vision. It explodes, and with a combined attack of Maharaga, he uses a move that's similar to piercing blood, but is with the elephant water condensed attack. The only time that he could have been able to remember this or know something of this is either maybe back in the years, as blood manipulation has always been a thing, or it's from Choso specifically, as he learnt it when Yuji was attacked by the piercing blood. But this also means that Sukuna can use the 10 shadows as moves himself, which is very impressive. Gojo even believes Sukuna being as skilled as him with a variety of techniques. This is especially true since Gojo could do so much with Lapis Blue alone, as we've seen. Gojo and Sukuna know that this is the breaking point. However, this stage will unfold and determine the winner. So all of a sudden, where Gojo had to fight them both at the same time and even was another battle and problem to overcome, he didn't feel sad or something useless like that. When now it was a 2v1 turned into a 3v1. Sukuna will do all it takes to take down Gojo, even if it means sacrificing everything. This new age totality beast that is spawned was used to cost Gojo more energy and use moves that he probably never wanted to be adapted. Amidst all of this, Gojo didn't complain. Instead, he insults Sukuna for looking like a lost child in between two. Just went from bad to worse. Gojo didn't have much of a problem and even ended up dodging a whole lot of attacks that were thrown at him. Before Gojo shoots a red and finds out Maharaga, instead of doing 0 to 100 when it comes to adaptation, it is gradual. Amidst all the pain and suffering to come, he sees this opportunity to strike and use a move that he's been working on. It is inevitable to be the strongest character, this move that will finish them all, the unlimited Hollow technique. This is where the question of is Gojo and Sukuna's pain and suffering really what drives them and creates these feelings? No, I don't believe it's genuinely pain and suffering, but the thrill of finding your match. While playing in a competitive game, when is it ever fun to beat someone again and again that is not on your level?
Hey friend, I heard you lost. Lost pretty bad. That really blows. You must be feeling really angry right now. Downright frustrated.
Most of the time it feels pointless and tiring and would most likely stop you from playing the game overall. But when you're up against somebody that is, whether your friend or a person online, that gives you that competitiveness and that competitive edge, you almost love playing them way more than anything in the world. Back and forth is what you do to evolve and become stronger, whether mentally or physically. It doesn't change. Gojo and Sukuna are the same. The pain and suffering comes along with finding an equal, so the two are not so different from each other at all. But it is the individual that allows you to become satisfied in the long run, creating an unbreakable bond and abnormal feeling, not just the pain and suffering. That is what Gojo sensed with Toji, and now that is something that he sensed with Sukuna. This is how we were born, with the moment where Gojo called himself the Honored One, and Toji, looking helpless, couldn't do a thing. And Gojo respected him, even wearing his clothes in battle right now. But when it comes to Sukuna, now is the time that he needs to prove to himself that although you found your equal, you will be the strongest, and that would be solidified in history. That's all for today, guys. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, I'd heavily appreciate it, and check out the content on the screen right now. It should be fun, and as I say to the new and old people that come and visit my channel, Jana.